The long-awaited motion picture starring DC Comics character The Flash is finally coming out, and I couldn't be more excited. And while I'm a huge fan of The Flash, there is another character featured in this film that I can't wait to see return to the silver screen. To a generation of Bat fans of a certain age, Michael Keaton was their cinematic Batman. I was a part of this demographic as well. When Batmania hit a fever pitch with the release of the Batman movie in 1989, I was on board 100%. On this edition of Rob's Arcade, we're going to celebrate the return of Michael Keaton as Batman by having an art class in which we draw a cartoon version of him as the Cape Crusader. When the class is done, we're going to check out my favorite game based on the 1989 movie when we check out Batman on the Sega Genesis. I can't wait to get started, so let's check our supplies before I go nuts.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Okay, Player 2s, I am super excited about this one. We're going to draw Michael Keaton as Batman. We're going to use the same process we always use. Again, we're going to take our pencils and we're going to draw very, very lightly, because eventually we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to erase all the pencil lines. The very first thing that we're going to do is we are going to draw an oval. Now we have to make our oval in the middle of our paper because we're going to need some room at the top and the bottom for more details. After we draw our oval, again very lightly, we're going to draw a line right through the middle of our oval. After that, we're going to draw a line a little bit past the halfway point, again very lightly, as another guideline. After that, we're going to draw a triangle right there where these two lines intersect. Starting right here, we're going to draw a diagonal line that goes a little bit past our circle here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, we're going to try to make everything even so everything stays even on both sides. A line down here, a line down here, and another line that goes right across here. So we're going to pretty much make a shape that looks like this. So far so good, huh, Player 2s? Next up, we're going to draw a guideline again very lightly right about here. This is going to help us with the placement of his eyes because that's what we're drawing next. We're going to draw his frowning eyebrow, which is kind of going to be like a letter S. So down here, around out there, and then have it flare out a little bit there. Again, another letter S. Down here, we're going to leave a little gap between these lines right there. Down, around, and like that. Inside of there, we're going to draw a straight line that goes to about there. A straight line that goes to about there, a little bit past there, and then draw a curve connecting it. So we have it where it's lined up right about there. Same thing over here, and this will line up right about there where the jaw starts. Inside this shape, we're going to do the same thing, but yet just a little bit smaller. We're going to try to make everything even, straight line, and a curve, and another curve. Inside of that, again, we're going to try to make everything the same size on both sides. A circle, and another circle, with a circle in the middle, circle in the middle, got another circle on the outside there for a highlight. Inside of this area here, we're going to exaggerate his lips. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a curve right there, diagonal line here, diagonal line there. Again, we're going to try to make everything even, so if it's easier, we do a guideline right across here, again very lightly, to show his top lip. We're going to draw a curve here, kind of like what we did over there. Straight line across, straight line across. Again, if we did that to guideline, we could follow that. We're going to extend this line a little bit and kind of make him frowning a little bit. And underneath that, we're going to draw a diagonal line, curves up to here, and connects to here. So this curve right here will serve as top of his chin, so we'll just do a little line underneath there, and then over here we can just kind of curve it like so, giving him a rounder chin. We're going to add 2 lines here. So now so far we have eyes, nose, mouth, jaw. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to draw a slight diagonal line on both sides here, lined up with where our circle goes, or our oval goes. Follow that straight up, and then do a triangle shape there. Same thing over here, straight up. Again, we go along the side of our original oval, end up there, top it off all right there, and then we draw a curve at the top. Pretty easy so far, huh, player twos? We're going to just draw a slightly thicker line over here so you can see where his nose is, and then just a little curve at the top right there, just for a little added detail. Now we're going to do his neck, his cowl, and his bat symbol. So the first thing we're going to do down here is we're going to draw an oval. When we're done with that, we're going to draw 2 diagonal lines extending the shape of the head here, creating a neck. Now this Batman with this cowl, he can't turn his neck, so it's going to look a little stiff. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a curve here, a curve here, one curve right there for his shoulders, another curve right there for his shoulders, and then we're going to do another curve that connects to there, and another one that connects to there. We're only drawing his cowl, his head, and his chest piece. Now, I was taught to draw the bat symbol a certain way when I was very, very young. I'm going to show you the same way that I did that and stuff. So it's very easy because this is, again, the same process of breaking everything down into shapes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a letter V. On top of the letter V, we're going to do a little curve. We're going to straighten up these parts of the top of the letter V and make them straight up and down triangles, so we would have something similar. And I'm just shading this in now. Don't shade this in too dark. I'm just doing this to show exactly where the placement of stuff goes here. So we have a shape that is like a letter V with 2 triangles at the top of it. Starting right about here, we go and we do a curve, goes up to the top there, follow it around to here, another curve right there, and then have that connect right to about there. So again, we don't have to do this step. I'm just doing this to kind of show all my player twos. Shade this in a little bit. Now we have a little bit more of that shape. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, a curve goes here, and again, we do this half by half, so this way we can look at one side and draw that and try to exactly duplicate what we have on the other side. And we're going to go down and around to here, up and around there, and up and around there. shade this in, we have one solid shape. We're going to do kind of a straight line here that curves around to there, and another straight line there, a line here, and a line there. And there you have it, Player 2s. We have just done step 1 of drawing Batman. Now we have our completed image here. Now all we have to do right now, maybe we'll add a little bit of a little cleft to his chin right there too, just to add a little bit more depth to this picture. What we're going to do is we're going to take our black felt tip pen or black magic marker, and we're going to ink over only the lines that we need. So these guidelines right through here, we're not going to need. So when the ink dries, we're going to erase everything. Now I know I went pretty fast with this one, so the good thing about this being on YouTube is that you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can do whatever you need to do. Take a good look at your picture right now. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but make sure that you have all the steps complete, because once we start inking over everything, you can't fix that. So Player 2s, I'm going to do this very, very fast. So I'm going to take my black felt tip pen and I'm going to start inking over everything that I need to do. Check it out. And there you have it, Player 2s. We have just completed our Batman drawing. Now wait a few minutes and give the ink a little bit of time to dry, especially in this area down here if you shaded that in, because you don't want this ink to smear or make a mess and completely ruin the amazing masterpiece that you've just done. But when it's done, take your eraser, erase all the pencil lines. The good thing about this image and stuff, if you take a look at it, we don't have any really crazy extra lines aside from the guidelines here and just a little bit of stuff on the inside, so it should be really easy to erase. I really enjoyed doing this class with all of my Player 2s, and I can't wait till the next time. In the meantime, how about we head on down to the Classic Game Showcase and take a look at one of my favorite Batman video games.
On this episode of the Classic Game Showcase, we're going to fire up the Sega Genesis and spend some time with Batman the video game. Based on the blockbuster film of the same name, Batman was released by Sunsoft in 1990 and is a very faithful adaptation of the source material. In this side-scrolling action platformer, players take control of the Caped Crusader himself as he punches and kicks his way through 6 stages of Gotham City's underworld and attempts to save the city from the Joker's evil schemes. In addition to being able to punch and kick, Batman carries a limited supply of batarangs as well as a grappling hook to help him reach higher platforms. While the majority of the levels in this game are side-scrolling beat-em-ups which end in boss battles, there are 2 stages where players get to step into some of Batman's wonderful toys. In one section, players hop behind the wheel of the Batmobile and engage in all-out warfare with the Joker's goons in their vehicles, and on another level, players pilot the Batwing to take out the Joker's helicopters and Smilex gas-filled balloons. These levels are a lot of fun and add a little more depth to this title. The graphics of this game are fantastic for this time period and do a great job replicating the atmosphere of the film, but where this title truly shines is in the music. Although none of the themes from the film are used in this game, Batman has its own unique soundtrack and it is tremendous. My only gripes about this title are minor ones. This game is really short and can be completed in about an hour. Also, for some odd reason, Batman begins the game with only half of his life bar filled. If you grab a heart icon, it'll fill up your life bar, but if Batman loses all of his hearts in response, his life bar goes back to 4 bars. That really doesn't make a lot of sense, but in all honesty, this game is not especially challenging, so having only half of a life bar isn't really a big deal. Overall, the Sega Genesis version of the Batman film is a decent game with good graphics for its time period and an amazing soundtrack that fans of the source material will truly enjoy. Unfortunately, this game has not been ported over to any modern system, so the only way to play this title is on the original hardware. But if you're a fan of the 1989 Batman film, you've got to check this game out if you get the opportunity, because Batman on the Sega Genesis is one of the best interpretations of the film in video game form out there. Until next time.